So, hey, Chelsea, I'm so excited for this interview. I feel like I first ever found you or knew you back in 2020 through Clubhouse, right? Is that kind of where,
Oh
was
my
that it?
gosh, I forgot about Clubhouse.
I know.
Yes, I actually met so many awesome humans on Clubhouse. And
Same with
what
Giselle. That's how I ever met her.
yes, that's where I met her too. And what weren't we all there? It was like December 2019, was it? That we all
Well, I
like
was
got
in
out for New
COVID.
Year's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it must have been 2020.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I remember I was on vacation and I must have been listening to a podcast. I don't even remember. Did we have reels then? I think we
I
did.
don't think
Somebody was
we,
talking
I
about
don't know.
Clubhouse. And I'm like, what is this Clubhouse? And then you had to be invited, remember? Like you had to
Yeah.
like know
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody. And I don't remember who invited me or how I got in, but I got in. And then
And
there
then
was a
you're in
lot of
these
fun.
rooms with people, and then people create their own rooms. And then all of a sudden, I
It
think
was
a lot of people actually became well known or whatever through that program. They kind of found their way into the avenue. Well, okay, let me back up for a second. Before Clubhouse, were you still in the space that you're in?
mm-hmm.
Okay. So give a
Yeah,
little
I've
history
been
because
in.
you
Yeah,
coach and help kind of focus on real estate with social media. Were you an agent before?
I
Okay.
was. Yeah. So
Okay.
I've been in the real estate space for about 26 years.
Okay.
Once upon a time, I was a full time real estate human. And I do joke and tell people I got licensed in 2001 BF, which is before Facebook. And we did business the old fashioned way because guess what? We didn't have social media. It was not normal to talk to strangers on the internet.
Right.
And I really wish that we would have had social media because it would have been a very different experience. But I was an agent and I loved buyers. I know I was kind of the person that people were like, what are you talking about? Don't you love listings? I loved the buyers. And back in those days, for anyone who's listening who remembers being an agent in the early 2000s, what at least I did, we would have the buyers in the car with us all
Oh yeah.
day.
100%.
And
Yeah.
I loved it. We would get to know each other. We would talk. Like I loved looking at the houses and like decorating it with them. Like that was my jam. And I loved that so much. So I actually worked in new homes before I went into residential resale. So I worked in the new home world. Then I went into residential resale and I left officially in 2011, which was after some of the best years we ever had in real estate, 2008, 9,
True.
and 10. And I didn't want to leave real estate. So I ended up, as fate would have it, my path was to continue to work with realtors, but in a role for a corporation as a marketing director. Now, I had no idea what I was talking about in marketing and social media. And apparently I interview really well because they gave me the job. And I set about to learn about what the heck is marketing and personal branding and social media. And that was around 2011. And everything was self taught because we didn't have anything like Kajabi or Teachable or anyone really even on YouTube figuring out like how do we actually use social media for real business and not just connecting with people. So that's how I started. And then one person asked me to show them how to use Snapchat, and that turned into a daily Snapchat show. That turned into 3 people in a class and 30, then 300, then 3,000. And it found me. So I'm a teacher by nature. That's what I was designed to do here on the planet, to help give people permission and to teach them. It just so happens that my current topic is social media and building trust online. But really, I'm ultimately a teacher.
What made you apply for the marketing position
You
and
know, it's so
leave
funny.
actual
Yeah.
sales?
So I left sales because 2008 was really tough.
I
And you
quit for
know,
a period of time too.
yeah, my husband and I were both in real estate at
Oh,
that
I didn't
time.
know that. Okay.
So that wasn't a very good idea that both of us were doing the same thing and in the same industry. And we lost our home too, as well, as many people did.
Hmm.
And got into short sales, of course. And I was actually, before I became a realtor, this is relevant, I was going to be a therapist, and I got my degree, and that's what I went to college for. And I realized
Interesting.
that I'm highly empathic, highly sensitive, probably not great for my nervous system to be taking on people's energy all day and all of that. So, the joke was
Especially
on
in the
me.
downturn.
Yeah, so I became a realtor, right? So it kind of got to use that, but that's where my fascination with human behavior, et cetera, and my love for empathy and emotional intelligence comes in. But I was really driven by feeling the pain of the clients that I had that were like, what are we
Mm-hmm.
going to do? We're losing our home. And I'm like, I know, we're trying everything we can. So I honestly don't know how I even came across this job. The universe provided it to me. And I had no idea what the job even was for, the role. I don't know why I went to the interview. I showed up.
But you
And
did.
then that set a 15-year course for that. And then I ended up creating the first ever. This company has probably 30,000 employees. It's a national company, and I said, hey, you know what? We need to get on the social media thing. And they're like, social media? What are you talking about? Absolutely not.
Really?
And I said, listen, I will do it on my own time. I'll create an entire program. I will do it for free. I will not impede on my role as what I'm doing here. And little by little, year after year, they started seeing that this thing was actually working. And so when I started my own company a number of years ago, probably about 5 years ago, that big company became my client.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's funny how full circle. I was like, I remember when you were like, absolutely not. Are we teaching our salespeople to use social media? No.
So you kind of launched into leaving production,
Mhm.
leaving the marketing, creating your own kind of coaching company on social media. Do you focus on any specific platform, or how do you kind of navigate that in your
Yeah,
role?
so I'm an Aquarius, which means I'm a rebellious by nature. I'm also, if people are listening that or if they've ever gotten into human design, I'm a manifester. So I like to do things my own way, and it never occurs to me to do it in any other way. And honestly, I thought growing up that that was a negative. And because everyone said, "Oh, you're not
Probably
doing it
teacher
this way,
told you
you're
that,
that
right?
way." That's right. And so I realize now, because I would think about things in a different way, it would take me longer to absorb and like really think about things. And I didn't realize it was going to be my greatest gift as a teacher to be able to break things down and think about it that way. So I always have looked at this social media thing as, hey, there's not a platform that's better than another. It's human beings. It's the same brains offline that are the brains that are online, right? Social media
Right.
is not real life, but we absolutely, our brains react in the same manner. The neurons fire in the same way. We make eye contact, so to speak, through a screen. And so there really is a science to the screen to screen relationship. And so I talked about that well before all of us went online. And when 2020 happened and we all really went online and we all spent all day on Zoom and all the things, people started saying, oh, you know what? This is actually here to stay. And this is quite convenient and still lovely that I'm here with Kimberly and we're having a real
Mm-hmm.
live conversation and we're not actually in the same room. And
Right.
so from then on, I've always been talking about social media is not really a content machine, it's a context machine. It's a beautiful communication tool where instead of only thinking about how can I be more visible, how can I get my content seen, we've kind of lost the plot. We can actually
True.
make other human beings feel seen by using whatever platform you want, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc., LinkedIn, to see what people are sharing and to engage with them in regards to that context and have a contextual conversation. Like if it's your birthday tomorrow and you post about your birthday, well, then I know exactly what to say and I can have a conversation about celebrating you and not have to think about what am I going to post today. So a lot of people think about social media as this big machine where they have to keep putting content into it. When in
Right.
reality, 26 years ago, as you recall, I would have to have your phone number, call you, leave a 1 minute voicemail, wait for you to pick it up and actually listen to it, which I feel like is unhinged behavior, right? Call me back. And then we would set up a time sometime to go to a Starbucks. And then
Right.
we'd get in the car and drive. And by the end of the day, I'd come home and my husband would be like, wow, how would you have a busy day? And I was like, whoo, slammed. I saw two people. Because really, that's what it was,
That's
right?
so true.
Social media is a way where we can actually talk to human beings for free in a few seconds a day. So
And
I
the
look
free part
specifically,
is so important because like you could
so
go door
important. And
knock
we
for
don't need your
five
phone number.
hours and like maybe
Yeah.
talk to two people.
I don't need your phone number. I don't need your email. I don't need your
You don't need
address.
my
I don't need.
permission.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that because we still want to be respectful and
Right,
human
right.
on social media. But A lot of people ask me why I don't focus on one specific platform. I like to hang out on Instagram, so I like to be there. But the strategies that I teach are more behavior based and human based and really apply to any platform. I
That
mean,
makes
maybe
sense.
YouTube will take it out of there because YouTube is usually very long form, either vlog style or educational based content. And yes, they have shorts, but it's not quite as community based like Facebook or Instagram, or you could even
Hmm.
say TikTok. So I usually leave YouTube in its own little category. But when I'm talking about the socials, and I find that people appreciate that because once you realize that it's all pretty much the same, the algorithms are generally the same, it's human beings on the other side. Yes, there's aspects of features and different types of content and lengths of content that might perform better on one than the other. But ultimately, what nothing has changed. I don't know if
Right.
y'all went to B&I meetings back in the old days. I did. And you knew that if you went to this networking meeting and you didn't talk to anyone and you went to the corner and ate your lunch and didn't talk to anybody and never gave any referrals, well, guess what? You're not getting any referrals either. The
Right.
people who talk to people, the people who engage, like it's nothing has changed except the medium. The signals that build trust in our brains and our bodies are still the same. It is the mediums through which we perceive those signals that have changed. So a lot of people think, oh, social media isn't real life. I'd rather meet people in person. Of course we would, right?
Right.
Like that is the ultimate. And now the personal brands that I think that are going to continue to win in 2026 and beyond are the people that can make content that can make a stranger feel like they already know them, because we do that. We lurk with love. We are going to
Hmm.
have a referral from our friend or our neighbor who is a real life human being. Maybe we're not going to chat GPT to find the best realtor in whatever. Maybe we literally ask our friend and neighbor, and a human being gives us that referral. And what do? We're going to put your name in somewhere, whether it's Google, Instagram, chat GPT, and we're going to look for content. And I always talk about Vanessa Van Edwards, who is somebody who I greatly respect. I love her books. She's like a human behavioral scientist, right?
Okay.
And he talks about this study that was done in Princeton about how our brains like do this thing very, very quickly where we're looking for two things and we don't even know it. We're looking, can I trust you? Are you competent? And this happens in the physical world when we meet people and also when you scan through someone's content. Well, can I trust you? I know that sounds wild. Like, how would I trust you from like a half second glance? Are you in your content? Right? Because
Right.
how do we trust people in the real world? Well,
Are you
we wouldn't trust
found?
if they didn't look at us when we
Right.
talk to them and connect, right? We'd be like, this is kind of weird. The next one is competent. Well, how will I know if you're competent? I know this sounds wild, Kimberly, but listen to me on this one. And this is how we all do it. We're scanning. We're not going to watch all 300 of your videos.
No.
I'm not. But I'm going to see, wow, Kim's got 300 videos about real estate in this particular city. She probably knows what she's talking about. That's all I need. I'm ready to reach out, right? So it's not just one thing. It's not one video. It's not that
Hmm.
people are going to immediately build trust with you and they've never seen you before and they see one video and you're like, you're my person. It's usually a connection, a connecting of the dots of a human being I trust knows who you are. I am verifying and using the last check mark going to social media. And
Right.
if I see you in your content and you are answering commonly asked questions, I can actually get a sense of, oh, this is what it would be like for me to work with Kimberly. So that's how human behavior works. So we kind of got down the rabbit hole of what platform is better. There is no platform that's
I love
better.
that answer because so many people get stuck in this, well, I need to
Mhm.
pick one. But I love the fact that it's human behavior and just do it. Like get out
Yeah.
of your
And
head and just do it. And
yeah.
probably
And if
done
you,
is better
and if
than
you,
perfect, is it?
and
Or
if
do you have a
you,
thought on that?
And if you need some permission, let me give the permission to anyone who's listening that one, some people love to be on multiple platforms. And if you love that and you get so much joy, like the minute your eyeballs open every morning, you're like, I have so many content ideas. I can't wait to create them and post them. And I cannot wait to be on all 5 places. In fact, I want to post twice a day everywhere. I love that for you. That immediately dysregulates my nervous system. I am like, I that's not me. And I'm telling you that because I want people to know there are more than one way to do the things, just like everything. Some people go to college, some people don't. They can equally be successful. We keep thinking that social media has to be done in like this recipe. When in reality, just like real life, there are so many different ways to do the thing. So yes, done is better than perfect with a caveat. My caveat is social media has changed and how we connect with people has changed. 10 years ago, maybe it's more like 15 now, I lose track of time. We would never have accepted a friend request from somebody we had never met before on Facebook. Like that just would not happen. We'd be
Sure.
like, who is this person? Which is why they started, oh, but you also know these people in common, right? Because we're like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
we don't accept people. Social media was simple. If you followed 100 people, you only saw those 100 people and you saw them in the order they posted. And now we are in a different world of recommendations, suggestions, people we don't know. And so that has changed how we consume content, how we engage, or should I say, don't engage. Now we
True.
silently watch like TV versus dropping a comment on everything because we don't know people. So, and
Right.
we're watching these episodes out of order. So, done is better than perfect, but also remember, you used to be able to post anything. Anything. It could have been your carpet. I don't know,
Right.
just a random piece of your carpet in your living room, and somebody probably would have liked it or commented. And so I'm being funny, of course, but what's happened now is that if you're posting just to check the mark, it's Wednesday, I got to post something. I've posted every Wednesday for the last 12 years. It depends on what you're posting.
Okay.
Because if you are going to post because you heard that you got to post 3 times a week and that's what's going to help you get more reach, if no one is engaging with any of your 3 posts that you are posting every single week without fail, they're going to stop showing your content. So in
Ah.
some cases, more is just more, not more is better.
But how do you
Now, if
find what sticks if you don't do more? That's where I get a little stuck. You know what I mean?
yeah. So here's the way my brain thinks of it, right? So I always tell people one, before we talk about content, we need to reframe how we think about what content is. Kind of like how I reframed what social media is. Social media is a way for you to communicate with people. It's almost like an emotionally intelligent database where I can see what's going on in your world because you've shared it and I can have a conversation with you. I can't do that with my email inbox. I can send you an email, but I have no context as to what's going on in your particular world that
Right.
day.
How you received
Now, I
it or what?
love email. We want to use email, right? So I'm not saying that we shouldn't. But what's important is to think about, first of all, how do the algorithms work? Because if you're making good content, Kim, and you're posting it, I might not be seeing it. Now, we just talked about this because Facebook and Instagram and all the other ones used to be who you saw was who you knew, who you followed in order. Now we don't see that. So, what happens is a lot of people are out here thinking, oh my gosh, this is not working. So, I need to post more because that must be the answer. When in reality, many times I have people post less and start talking more
Ah.
because the algorithm, while Instagram specifically has not put this in writing, you can find it on some blog posts, but I have not personally found it on Instagram's actual content. A lot of people will say, well, Instagram tests your content with a subset of people that already follow you. And so one could theorize that if that is true, even though I can't find it anywhere specific. Now, what Instagram has said is that, yeah, well, we're going to make a prediction and show your content based to people that we think are going to engage with it. Well, what's a good prediction measure? People who you engaged with in the past. So
Right.
it would make sense to then say, oh, well, maybe they are showing it to people that I know and engage with first. Now, here's the thing. If you're not engaging with anyone, who are they showing it to? So before you're thinking about content, you have to think about what is your intentional engagement strategy. If you are getting very low engagement, my question always is, how often are you proactively engaging with other people? Because the algorithm wakes up and it sees that if I like your post, or if I comment on your post, or if I watch your post and I don't even comment and I actually share it to someone, it's noticing that. And then what I'm going to see is more of your content higher up and more often in my feed. So who you talk to matters more than what you post. Because if you're not talking to anyone, they're probably not going to see your post because we're in a world of now a bunch of people that we don't know. So if I only have 10 minutes, and I've always had 10 minutes to look at Instagram, I don't have any more, but I'm only seeing half of the people that I follow, right? We've got a problem.
That's
So you
interesting.
need to talk to people first. So who you talk to matters more than what you post. That's number one, right? Now,
Like, pause for 1 second. Is it matter equally on stories and posts, or we're talking just post right now?
So each one of them has their own algorithm. They work the
Okay.
same basically.
Okay.
So yeah, you need to talk to people in stories and in posts. I know, right? But in the grand scheme of things, put it on a timer, put it on for 90 seconds, talk to people in the feed, and then go to the stories. I mean, it
Super
doesn't have
smart.
to be that difficult. So yeah. So also what happens is people say, well, I'm making posts and no one's engaging. Well, just because people are seeing your posts, like, because it's more likely that people that follow you are going to see your posts on Facebook than Instagram, because there's just less recommended posts on Facebook currently. Well, that doesn't mean they're going to respond. It's the law of reciprocity. The BNI meeting. If you don't say hi to me for 5 BNI meeting in a row, am I going to say hello to you first? No. What we do offline, we forget to do online,
That's so
true.
true. That's a really,
So you're over
really,
here
really good
saying,
point.
where's my engagement? Why isn't anybody commenting? And
Because
you're like,
everybody's
oh yeah,
so
no,
centered in their own world of like,
I
I'm,
don't comment on anyone else's.
yeah, that's
Right?
such a good point. Like you go to
So
a
the
dinner party and you don't say hi to people, you might not get invited again.
And think about if you didn't say hi to people, like maybe you're shy, and shy people get this. I'm an introvert. I'm
Yeah,
a quiet person. I'm shy, and people have thought, oh, she must not be very nice. I'm shy, and so I'm like, oh, like I don't want to like start talking to people, right? So we have to talk to people first. Okay, so that's the one thing. So
that's
that's
huge. Yeah,
one answer to why things you're not getting a lot of engagement and things aren't working. People aren't seeing you, and you're not engaging with them. Now, number two, the big problem with content that frustrates so many of us isn't what you're posting per se, it's an imbalance of what you're posting, and I'll explain. So I don't know where we all got the same exact information, but years ago, we had this imprinted into our brain somewhere. I don't know if it was a book we read, a conference we went to, that said if you're a real estate agent and you're going to make content and you're going to build a brand online, you better show up and provide value. And value clearly means educational content. And yes, value is educational content, right? But value is so many other things. Like you and I wouldn't go to lunch and you wouldn't just talk about market stats with me. You wouldn't pull out your computer and be like, let me show you this PowerPoint I made, Chelsea. I'd be like, okay, let's talk about like your family. What are you up to? You're going on a like vacation, right? Right? Because that's what we do in real life. And so the problem is we think that value is not our everyday life, that value that outside of education doesn't exist. But I tell you, I cannot quantify the value of my dog Daisy, but I know she's got it, right? Like there are many things that we can quantify the value. And when I see something that makes me laugh, or like, especially when it's about a husband and wife thing, like my husband listens to his reels on like volume 100. I'm like, seriously, why is it always volume extreme? I saw somebody make a reel about that. That brought me value. That was joy. That was feeling seen. And then it gave me even more value when I shared it to my husband. So the idea of value is really hard for our brains to connect with unless it's around education. So
that's
here's the thing.
so true.
We make really good, boring content, and we need to make really good, boring content because here's why. That expertise, educational content, the stuff where you're answering the commonly asked questions, you're answering the unasked questions, you're telling me what's going on with the marketplace, you are informing me about what's happening with interest rates. You're even telling me about the local stuff that's going on. That is all expertise, educational stuff, right? You may be even talking directly to the camera while you're doing this. I love that for you. And then what happens is you post it and you're like, womp womp. That was like 3 likes. And then you post your dog like lounging on the couch in the sun and everybody wants to comment on it. That's weird. And then you're like, see, I told you posting about my business is not going to work, so I'm not going to do it.
Oh,
Here's the
so
thing.
true.
The balance that our brains need as humans, okay? One, we cannot connect and build trust with somebody who literally only talks about work. That would be annoying at a dinner party. We'd be like, we got it, okay?
Yeah,
We know what you do.
we know what you
Like,
do.
all your work. So we like to have small talk with people. And so we need expertise content, but we also need human content, okay? We need personal content, not private. Personal and private are 2 different things. And a lot of people say, oh, yeah, no, I keep personal over here and business over here. I go, no, you don't. You wouldn't have any business if you
Good
kept
point.
personal and business separate.
Like when
You
you
can
have a client and you're spending
yeah,
the however months
yeah,
you are texting them and spending
yes,
time with them, you are slipping in nuggets of who you are. So,
you keep business and private separate. Like, how weird
yeah,
would it be if you picked me up from the airport and you dumped your entire family history on what was going on and your traumatic, like, things that you're working on? I'm like, wow, okay, we haven't even gotten out of the airport parking lot yet. This is wild. Well, we talk about the weather. We talk about where are you at? Oh my gosh, okay, do you have dogs? Oh, we small talk. Why? Because
hmm
human beings need and require, our brains need and require low barrier of entry, psychologically safe topics to get to know someone. I'm not going to go up to a stranger and immediately ask them something that is like, how much money did you make last year? Whoa,
How
okay,
many
I
houses did you
need
sell
to
last
know
year?
you.
I don't know you.
Right. So we forget, and then we show up online and we do a bunch of big talk. Big talk is your expertise content. But if I
Right.
don't know you and I'm seeing your video, I'm not going to jump in the comment section or a DM unless you've
So
really
true.
moved me, right? But when will I jump in? This is an easy example. When somebody posts their birthday or anniversary, guess what? They get a lot of comments. Why? Because people like to be nice. People don't need to think. They're like, oh my God, I'm so glad. This is obviously unconscious. I'm so glad Kim posted about her birthday because I want to be a nice person and I want to say happy birthday and I didn't have to burn any brain calories to think about what to say. I didn't even have to pay attention. I saw her with a cake in front of it and I'm like, I know what to do. And our brain's like, yes, we love that. Then when they see somebody like me talking about a strategy for building your personal brand, they're like, ooh, number one, I have to pay attention. Okay.
And I don't know
I
what
have
to
to watch.
say.
And then two, I have to think of something. I have to think of a question. So
Then I'll just do this emoji.
right, the human content gets engagement, comments, right? Likes. But I'm not going to share your birthday pics. I'm not going to search for your birthday pics.
No.
Okay. So we need the boring stuff to get found.
So
So
with
that it
with
does.
that, I don't know if it's
Mhm.
changed. Like let's just stick with Instagram and Facebook for right now, but kind of what I've heard is that you do like kind of the random boring stuff in stories and you keep your posts more like high level. Has that changed? Is that kind of a mistake that
I
I'm
think it
hearing?
has. It has for me. Okay. So I am taking more things from my stories and putting them in my feed
Like less
because I
perfect feed, because it
realize,
used to be like a
oh yeah,
curated thing
oh
and
yeah, we
now it's
loved the theme. We loved a theme. We loved a template. Like that was hard for me to let go. That was hard for me to let go. And it was really a beautiful blessing because it's just easier all the way around. But yes, the trend is more less edited. First of all, beautiful cinematic videos I see and am totally impressed by. There is not one way to earn business and earn trust. You can have something that's edited, somebody can record it for you. You could have a videographer. You could sit in your parked car with no lights
hmm
and no script and literally have a video that people resonate with, right? So it's not about how it necessarily looks. But what I will say is that we do see a trend of seeing more story like content in the actual feed. And when I say story like, I mean that in two ways: the format or what it looks like, right? A little bit more unedited. I'm in my kitchen. I'm not like in a quote unquote studio setting with lighting and all of that. And also in the top topics, right? Because you're a human being that happens to sell real estate. You're not a realtor that happens to be a human being. And all of the posts, and everybody knows this, and I'm going to give you an example where everyone who's listening is going to go, oh my God, she's so right. We engage with human stuff more
true.
so than business stuff. Now, let me prove this point. Everybody who's listening to this has a Facebook business page and has had it for eons. And every single person who has a business page hates it. I
It
cannot tell
doesn't
you the
hardly
last
use it other than we need to for
time on
ads.
my Facebook page, right? Now, let's talk about why. Because the model that I teach, which we were just getting into, is personal human content. That's for engagement and relatability. I talk about expertise content, which is not for engagement. Now, you can get engagement, but it's really for searchability, somebody sharing it. I just saw a video of somebody that had 0 comments. Do you know it had a lot of shares? I'd rather have the shares than the comments because that's how you grow and to build trust, right? Like I need to see you doing the thing that you claim that you are good at, right? I'm not going to watch all your videos, but I'm going to see them, right? And if people start talking to you on your personal stuff, they will start seeing your expertise stuff more because now they're talking to you. Remember, that was our first conversation we had. So personal expertise, the last one is sales. Okay. Those are the 3 buckets I use for any personal brand: personal expertise and sales. Your sales is your just list, is your just solds, your testimonials, the stuff that 0 people engage with. That's okay. That's not what it's for. It's to show proof that all those videos where you were talking about real estate, you actually do the thing. And
Right.
it's to prompt people in their own time to see it and say, you know what, I'm going to reach out. It might be 2 years from now. That's okay, right? Because it is serving as a prompt. So you need those 3 different aspects. But now back to the Facebook thing. Your Facebook personal is usually only personal. Your Facebook business is expertise in sales, mostly sales. And now you know why you don't get any comments on it and why you don't get any traction. You need a balance of all 3. They do different things. The human stuff gets the comments. It builds the relatability.
That makes
The
sense.
expertise stuff builds the searchability. So like me, this is a true story, and I'm going to tell this story from here on out now. I was looking for a specialist in the medical field, right? And I started with my BFF. I called her. I go, who do you know? Da, da, da. She gave me her person she uses. I did a bunch of research. I went online. I looked at their website. Then I went to ChatGPT. Chat gave me 10 different people, did the same thing. And I went to their socials, right? And a lot of them were not in their content. They were just making content that had like tips or whatever. And then I went to Google, rinse and repeat. Okay. And I finally kind of just was like, I'm just going to hold off on this for a minute. It's just, I'm not finding what I'm clicking with. And so this was like a 2-week thing. I'm scrolling through TikTok. A video pops up of somebody I've never seen before. I do not follow. It happens to be a medical practice talking about a very niche lab about what I was looking for, like a
Wow.
lab result and what to ask for. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Let me watch this. Did not like it, did not comment. Went to their profile, watched 10 more videos, did not like, did not comment. Instead, I got up and got out my laptop and went to their website and gave them my credit card and became a client.
Wow.
Because that's how it happens now.
Mm-hmm.
They would never know unless I told them I'm coming from your content. You know why?
Right.
Because the woman in your videos had the same problem that I'm struggling with. And now I feel like you just gave me a bunch of information. And even if I never came to you guys, like I could take that information and go somewhere else. So thank you for that. And also, I feel like what it's like to be in your practice, like be a client. So when we talked about creating content that can make a stranger feel like they already know you, guess who felt like I already knew them? Me. And I gave them my money and I am so happy I did. I absolutely love the practice. It's not even in my state. I'm virtual
Wow.
only. Like wild, right? So the idea that I don't want to make stuff because it's so niche, it's so boring, and it's not going to
Right.
get any views. We don't care if it goes viral. It needs to be viable. I'm viable. I'm the one person that might have watched that week and been like, here's my credit card. And look, I'm talking about it now. And I've even referred other people. So people are like, oh, it didn't get very many views. It does not matter. People are checking off the list. Can I trust you? Are you competent? Can I feel what it would be like to work with you? The answer is yes. And by the way, I never left a like or any trackable metric, but
I
you've got
love
my
that.
money now and I'm referring you. And that is how we work in 2026 and beyond, right?
I
But no
love
matter
that.
where they start, right? Human or otherwise, we're looking to gather information. Our brain takes shortcuts. And if you are in your content, you are going to accelerate the trust creation, that feeling of I feel like I already know you. If I go to your content, which I did, I went to a lot of people's content. They were not in their content. They were not making videos. I did not choose those people because I just felt like I got so much more information and personality and perspective from these people that were making content. So that's how a lot of us are working. Not all of us, but it is true. Social media isn't real life. However, our brains do function in the same manner when we make eye contact with somebody on a screen and we feel like it and we can't deny it, right? You feel like you kind of know someone. You're like, this is so weird. We've never met, but I feel like it. it's like just like us. Like we feel like we know each other, but we've like never met. And I just met somebody 2 weeks ago that asked me how Daisy was and how is Mason and blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, please tell me your first name. And she's like, oh my gosh, we've never met. That's right. I've been following you for like the last year and I feel like we know each other. And that's wonderful, right? Because people, the biggest compliment people can give me is you're just like I thought you were going to be from your
That's
content.
right. Yeah.
And so, yeah, 2026 is the first year, believe it or not, that I actually underlined and bolded that you have to be in your content if you are a personal brand in 2026. Now, does that mean you have to talk to the camera all the time? Nope. But we've got to lean into how our brains are made. And offline, we connect with people through eye contact, through nonverbal communication. We don't have all of that when it comes to being in the digital world, and we are never going back. It is way too
No,
easy
you're
for me to
right. You're right. That's true.
GPT and scroll through something, then call and go look at places and things. And it's really important. Like, are you showing up as a human being where I could feel like what it might be like to talk with you, to work with you?
True.
Now, of course, that's not all 100% like how it could be. You could meet somebody and they could be wildly different. But generally speaking, we like to lurk with love. And those people that are not leaving you any comments, they're still watching because they'll run into you and say, oh my gosh, it looks so fun. Your thing that you posted about.
That's
And
so
you're like,
true.
oh, I just did it. Like I just said to my friend of mine who hired me for an event, sent me an email and I said, and I didn't comment on her post, right? But I saw it. And I said, hey, I saw your post. I just want to let you know I'm thinking good thoughts for you and it's sending out the good vibes, like for a speedy recovery. And she was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. But I never commented
It's
on the
true.
post.
I don't
Yeah.
even, I mean, I don't have a huge following at all, but I went to a reunion not too terribly long ago, and I had no fewer than 12 people come up and talk about my stuff. And it's like, I
Mm-hmm.
had no clue that they were in
Yeah,
my world of anything. And so it's
exactly.
so true. And to your point, I watch, I watch your stuff. I watch a lot of people, and I don't comment all the time, once in a blue
Same.
moon, but I think it's a good idea. I love what you said earlier, where it spend 10 minutes, just put a timer on
Yeah.
and do some
Yeah.
engagement of authentic type of responses,
Yeah.
and really
Even
kind
if
of.
it's just, I'm going to watch 10 stories and I'm going to comment, like not even 10 minutes. And like, you don't have to comment on every story. Go to one person, comment on a story, literally go to the next.
Mhm.
And it's just so much easier. Like the people who remember in the old days of work where it was so like you would call people that you hadn't seen in so long and you feel so awkward. Like, ugh, what am I
Yeah.
going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? I don't need to even think of that. You're telling me what to talk about. Like
Good
all I
point.
have to do is respond. Like
I
it
mean, if all
blows
you do is just
my
send a
mind.
little clapping emoji, that's at
Yeah.
least,
And
to
and
me,
the
if
I
nothing else, it shows somebody that they're seen. And all of us want
yes,
to be seen. So even if it's not a
yes,
perfect response, if anybody responds to any of my stuff, I mean, I always look at like who looked at it, but if somebody sends even like a thumbs up emoji, I'm like, oh, it's
yeah,
we're humans and we like to be seen
yeah,
and validated, even if we do
yeah.
stupid content.
And what I'll tell you is that, and it's so funny, it's there's no coincidences, but I literally just filmed this video before I jumped on this call that people are so stressed that engagement is down, but they're not seeing the opportunity. And the opportunity lies in that it's real quiet in the inbox. It's really quiet in the comments. It's really quiet in the DMs
So
because
you
people are
can
just
change
watching.
somebody's experience just by not
Yeah,
being
I mean,
quiet, right?
the people I remember, I see their little profile pic and I see them commenting. Now, you said you even look at likes. I don't even do that. Like a lot of people do not look at the list of who liked it. They literally only are seeing the people who are in the comments and in their inbox.
Yeah,
And so, what a way to easily build a relationship and presence.
that's a good point.
And again, like I'm not saying what would you do in real life? Like if you are constantly like over at someone's house every day, that would probably be too much. So people are like, "Oh, should I comment on everything?" What would you do in real life?
Right, right.
Right? What would you do? You'd comment here and there and all the like I'm not saying you have to do it all the time and every day in every way, but also if you are an Instagrammer, use the favorites list because people
I've
forget
done
that that
that
is.
too. Yeah. You can save them so then you see their stuff and then it kind of pops them up. But yeah.
Yeah, well, the cool thing is some people who remember old world Facebook, they used to have friends lists. And you would put people, and I used to do it with clients, like I would have clients on like a client list. And so I wanted to make sure that I went in and I would comment on their stuff. And what would happen is you'd set up this list and you would go to that, or I'd go every morning and I'd click on the list and it would show me nothing but those posts. So I didn't have to go scrolling for it. And
Right.
that's what the favorites list on Instagram does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about being 5 minutes intentional, you go click it, turn it to favorites instead of the main one that they give you. And are 50 of those, the 50 is the max, are 50 of those people posting every day? Absolutely not. What are you going to get? 3 posts to look at? Oh, I think we can handle that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We can handle looking at 3 or 4 posts and making a comment and making someone feel seen. And also voice messages. Like people are like, oh, I just don't know how to grow. Like, I wish I had more followers. I'm like, why? Like, honestly, the way the algorithm works is the people who you engage with determine your reach because they will
Mm.
test it with those people, right? Before it goes out. So if you're not talking to people, like that's going to be a challenge too. But it's really important to be thinking about, can I show up in a way that makes the other people feel seen? Can I also not stress about making content? Like, your most important content and most original and most human is your comments. Literally, that's it. Like, you can leave a
That's
voice message.
very good
Like,
point. Yeah.
right now, there are times when, like, I remember when I would have 1 or 2 people that followed a week, and that was great, right? People are like, well, I used to get like 50 or 100. How weird would it be to meet 100 people for lunch in a week?
Right.
No, right? Why are we thinking that's normal? It should be, as you're creating trust built relationships, more like that. So you get one person a
Quality
week.
over quantity.
Yeah, you know what you can do? You can actually leave that person a voice memo. You know what? People who have 1 million people following, they can't do that.
That's a
Too
good
many
point.
notifications. So there's such a beauty in being able to have a smaller, more connected group of people. We don't need 10,000 people to refer us. We need 100 people who are the super fans that feel
Mm-hmm.
like they know us. And we all know in sales that people who feel like they know you are more likely to refer you. So why are we all going after more views from people we don't know, which is going to take 32 times or more? I'm making that number up, but it's a high number. It's going to take a lot of time for people to actually convert that don't know you and are familiar with you versus
Right.
people who you talk to. So, yeah, so there's
I
my
love that.
thoughts.
What's your thoughts on, I know 2026, you got the Gary V's of the world that are just like do a lot more.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of talking to two different people. Somebody that's been kind of into content but is not amplified it, which might be
Mhm.
me, and then other people that haven't really started, but somebody that's kind of
Mhm.
been going. I mean, he speaks of the more the better. And
Mhm.
I struggle with that because it's like, okay, I can envision doing more, but then
Yeah.
where's the quality, or what are you doing? Do you plan it
Yeah.
out? Is it
I
random? I
guess,
don't know. That's where I get kind of
yeah. So, first of all, Gary's got a strategy that works so amazingly for him. You can't deny that. It's working, right? He's also got a team.
good point.
And so it's kind of like we can all go to the ice cream shop and I like strawberry and you like mint chocolate chip. And that's cool because we're both getting ice cream, but we're picking what we like. And so, again, there is no one way to do social media. What we can take away is if I post more, not just templates and you're not in it, but let's just say, okay, I'm going to do this. And I think I'm going to go from 1 post a week. I'm going to do 3 posts a week with me in it. I'm going to talk to the camera. I don't really care if it gets a lot of views. I'm going to commit to do that. And I'm going to talk to people, right? So let's say we're going to do that. Yeah, the person who's posting more often probably is going to grow faster. Why? Well, you're going to get more reps in. You're going to get more experience. You're going to get more comfortable on camera. You're going to get more data if you are into data and look at metrics. And you get a chance to potentially be seen by more people.
Hmm.
Do you have to do that? No, because there are so many ways to build a business. For me and
Good
my
point.
nervous system, I like to never look at metrics. I like to talk to people. I like to do stories because it's easy and brings me a lot more joy than making a reel. Do I still make a reel? Yep, I do. I make a reel. I usually post once or twice a week. And I know that if I went to more platforms and if I got a team and I posted more often, I could grow, get more numbers, all of those things. I choose not to. I'm very happy with what I do now. And that's a choice that people will get to make. Like I say, if you're a tester, test it, try it out. But there is no one way. And I would think most people, I don't know if Gary would say it, but I think most people would agree that there are so many different ways to do something.
That's a
And
good point.
usually what happens is we find something that works really well for us,
Mm-hmm.
and that can work really well for other people. But, somebody who wants to post 5 times a day is probably not going to follow me, and that is okay because I have a unique perspective. And Gary has a unique perspective, and every social media creator has a different perspective. So I think it's about testing things out, seeing what feels aligned. I think self-awareness is the number one marketing skill.
I
I'm
love
very
that.
self-aware.
And
I'm
I
very
like the fact
self-aware.
that what you're talking about is that you can find a cadence that fits with who you are and not punish yourself over not following. I think too
Yeah,
often as we get into something, we put the bar so high that we fail before we get started because we've already talked ourselves out of the fact that I can never do
right,
that. It's kind of like the gym. Like just
right.
start with 30 minutes and
Yeah,
then as you see your
yeah.
muscles grow, you can add more
Your
time if you
yeah,
want
your
to.
example is perfect. Do you want to be on stage competing at a
Bodybuilder.
bodybuilding competition? If you do, cool. You're going to have to spend a lot more time in the gym. You're going to have to really dial in your nutrition and your subs.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to live a healthier lifestyle and you're like, I like going to the gym and I want to move my body, that's cool. Maybe you take your yoga class 3 times a week. Again, like you can pick the path, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're like, I want to be a bodybuilder, or if I want to be a full-time content creator, then
It's
yeah,
different. You're
you're
right. You're
probably gonna
right.
have to post more.
I love that. And I feel
Yeah.
that your perspective really helps somebody that maybe just getting started. And I love the fact that you speak of imperfection is still good because you're creating a relationship with
Mhm.
those that may be interested in working with you. And it's kind of like dating. Like we could have 10 of us on the same screen and they would choose to work with you versus me for different reasons. So it's like
Mhm.
you just need to kind of focus on your authentic self and have a
Mhm.
variety of yourself out there, which I think is
Yeah.
fabulous. Um,
Yeah, we keep it simple. We want to just
I
keep
think
those
keeping it
nervous
simple
systems
is
real,
great.
friend.
Oh my gosh, Chelsea, you're just so fabulous. You're such a. Are
Oh,
you
thank
still
you.
doing any sort of outside of keynote speaking? Are you still, do you have programs or coaching that if
Yeah.
somebody was
So
interested?
here's what I do. I do offer one-on-one coaching. So once in a while, I'll do like a group cohort, but I do offer one-on-one coaching. You can find that on my website. I do keynote speaking and workshops, so you can hire me for that. I have a new book coming out that you
Yay.
don't know about because I haven't told anyone, but it's called Uncopy Pastable, and it's how to build trust on social media through a personal brand and through content. So what we talked about today, and that's coming out at the end of the summer. And then last but not least, if you are listening and you're involved in a corporation or a group, what I love to do and what I do most of the time out of any of those things is I consult with companies and I help
Oh,
them
great.
build internal curriculum for their teams and build social media and teach them how to use social media. So that's my favorite thing to do. And that's what I've been doing for a really long time.
I love it. So I do
Yeah.
love to ask a final question, and it's going to be a little bit tweaked because you're not actively in production. But if you had to leave Arizona, move to a whole
Mm,
nother state that you've never lived in, it probably doesn't even matter because you're more virtual anyway. But let's say you had
mhm.
no platform, none of it, and you were starting over again tomorrow, and you wanted to scale Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to choose. What would you do first, and go from there?
I would tell the story of I'm starting over.
Oh, I love it.
Because people want to cheer you on. And so a lot of us are really afraid to say, I'm new at this. I'm moving here. I've never done this before. And I always say, like, talk about it. Like, why hide it, right? People
Yeah.
want to see
People
you.
love the underdog, right?
Yeah, and it's not even like we're not underdogs, we're just learning, right? And people
Or
want to
being
learn. We want to,
authentic, yeah.
yeah, we want to learn out loud. Like as simple as it sounds, the example that I love, because I love watching people that buy like the dilapidated building house and they're like, we're going to redo this ourselves and we have no idea what we're doing. And I'm like, yes, I want to see all of it. And I'm watching and I'm like, wow, look at how far you guys have come. And I remember that one time that you did it. We love that storyline.
I
It is
love
the hero.
that.
Like
And the
everybody, but
journey of imperfection, the hero's journey.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like these reality TV shows. It's going to end a certain
yeah,
greatness, but it's the turbulence that pulls you in and makes you feel for
yeah.
somebody,
I would start a series of
I
like,
love
I'm
that.
starting over and I want to tell you why I've decided to do it and what I'm going to do. And you may not even know what you're going to do, but we'll do it together.
I love that. Oh my gosh. I love it. Well, Chelsea, thank you so much. And one day we might get to meet in person.
Thanks for listening to Rewriting Real Estate. If today's episode challenged your thinking or gave you a strategy worth trying, share it. The right move at the right time can change everything. Subscribe and listen in next week for more insight, more momentum, and more ways to grow your business your way.